Alright guys, so today we're going to check out a very interesting smartphone. The one that we're going to check out is the Doogee S89 Pro. Now this phone was just released as of today. In fact, the regular retail price on it is coming in at $459, but because they're doing some kind of early bird pricing, right now you can pick it up for $229, which I will have links to that in the description. Now what stood out to me about this phone, being a huge Batman fan, this phone was designed around the look of Batman. Once you put on the case that's included in the box, it's kind of like a backplate case. It looks like Batman with his mask. You can kind of see where his mouth is cut out, and they actually use RGB breathing lights, which looks like his eyes. And actually these lights serve a purpose. When you have notifications that come in, whether it's your text or a phone call or anything like that, it will light up a specific color, and it actually even includes an app where you can customize the lighting the way that you want. That way you know what notification is coming up just by looking at those lights on the back of the phone. But another thing that really makes this phone stand out, and it kind of ties into being Batman related, is this phone is tough. Like, it's durable as hell. In fact, it's military grade standard. It is a very bulky, large phone. It reminds me of just like if you got a normal phone and then put one of those OtterBox Defender cases on it. You know how big and bulky those cases make the phone? Well, the phone itself is that bulky, and that's before putting any kind of case on it. So I will say that the design and the heft that this phone has isn't going to be for everybody, but it is definitely going to appeal to a lot of people that go camping or go outdoors, and you don't want to have to worry about having a charger with you, because the reason this phone is so large is because it has a 12,000 milliamp battery. So this is like 3 times the size of most average batteries in average cell phones. So the battery life is insane on here. It actually can get about 4 to 5 days of just normal use. I go through a full day, and when I look at the battery percentage at the end of the day, I'm usually sitting at around 80%. I'm using about 20% battery life per day. It says it gets like 900 plus hours of standby time. So if you're out camping, you don't bring a charger and you don't plan on being on your phone the whole time, you pretty much have a phone whenever you need it. You don't have to worry it's going to be dead, and then you don't have to worry about keeping it charged. Now, some of the overall specs on this phone, with this being the Pro model, now I don't know the huge differences between the Pro and the regular version. I do know the Pro comes in with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. It is an unlocked 4G phone. It comes with Android 12, and the overall operating system, the UI of this phone, looks like stock Android, which I am a huge fan of. I don't like it when a lot of people put skins to make it look completely different. I like things to just work the way they're supposed to, and I don't like a whole lot of bloatware, which is not included on this phone. It's just a simple Android experience. The screen on this phone I also was very impressed with. I think the colors are really nice. I know a lot of budget phones, the colors don't pop as much. The responsiveness on screens aren't as great as some of the flagship phones, but this one I had no issues with. In fact, the screen on this phone is a 6.3 inch IPS LCD screen. It is 2340 by 1080, and it is protected by Gorilla Glass. Again, the durability of this phone is pretty insane. If you drop it, if you throw it, it's not one of those that you have to kind of clench and just hope that nothing bad happened to your phone, unless something just directly hits the screen. Now, as far as what all they've included inside the box with this phone, it does come with a USB-C cable for charging. They've actually included a 65-watt charger. This is the first time that I've seen a charger that large come inside the box. It also comes with a tool to pry the case off of the phone. I mean, the case adheres to the phone really nicely. It's very snug, so it's one of those that's kind of hard to just dig your fingers or fingernails underneath to pop off. And again, I like this because you don't have to worry that case is going to fall off. But speaking of that charging cable, this phone does support wireless charging, so you don't actually have to use the USB-C cable. You can come in, drop this phone on any Qi wireless charger, and it will just start charging. Now, as far as the processor that this phone uses, it does use a MediaTek Helio P90. This is an octa-core processor. This is one of those that you can use with gaming and you don't have to worry about stutters or hiccups. Even though it's not like the latest and greatest processor, I had no issues with everything that I was running on this phone. Now it does have dual SIM slots that you can put in 2 different SIM cards. It also has a micro SD slot. And then on the side of the phone, it has the power button, which also doubles as your fingerprint scanner to unlock. And the fingerprint scanner on here is very fast. It's very quick. So as soon as you basically put your finger on the phone, it unlocks and you're ready to go. Now, right above that, you have your volume rocker. And then on the other side of the phone, it does have a custom button. So you can actually customize this to do different things or whatever you want. I personally did not want to do this because that button I accidentally hit all of the time. So I didn't want it to do anything because I knew I would constantly be, triggering it to open the camera or just do whatever. So I left this feature just turned off. Now, all of the ports on this phone is completely covered with flaps. The phone itself comes in rated at IP68, so it is dustproof and waterproof. Again, the protection that you have on this phone, it just gives you peace of mind if you're at the beach or if you're at an event where the phone could fall out. You're not really just worried about your phone the whole time because you don't have that fragile glass back type phone that's very thin and exposed ports. In fact, on the top, it also has a 3.5mm headphone jack, which I'm a huge fan of. And then on the bottom, this is where you see the USB-C input. Now, as far as the camera system on this phone, it does use a triple camera system. In fact, on the back, it has a 64 megapixel main camera. This is at f1.8. This is the wide lens. Then it has an 8 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide lens. And then this phone, this is another thing that you don't see on other phones, is it comes with a 20 megapixel f1.8 night vision phone. So if you're in the dark or it's, kind of dark and you want to see some things, it's basically a black and white type shot. And you can see things where it pulls out certain subjects. And this is just a cool feature. It just gives you a different type of look. And then as far as the video on this phone, it does not have 4K, which I was kind of disappointed in, but it does shoot in 2K, which is 1440p. And then the front-facing camera is a 16 megapixel f2.0 shooter. Now also, if you're gonna be shooting video with the front-facing camera, it shoots up to 1080p. But once you see the quality here, I don't think you're gonna be shooting a whole lot of video using that front-facing camera. So my overall opinion, I look at it that where you can get this phone for about 230 bucks, you're getting a phone that, again, you don't have to worry about when it comes to durability. And the battery life just destroys battery life on all of these other phones, especially in this price range, but pretty much in any price range. Although I do understand that the bulkiness and the design and the heft of this phone is not gonna be for everybody, but for people that are more outdoorsy type or people that just don't wanna have to worry about charging their phone all the time, this is actually a hell of a value coming in at this price tag. I was very impressed with the quality, the screen, the cameras were pretty decent, although not incredible. So yeah, this is an easy phone to recommend. But guys, that wraps up my video on the Doogee S89 Pro. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.